Good afternoon. My name is Jeffrey Putman, and I am the Dean of Students for the College of Medicine. It is my pleasure to welcome you to our 23rd annual White Coat Ceremony, which is sponsored by the College of Medicine and the Alumni Association of the College of Medicine. I would like to take this opportunity to thank one of our alumni, Dr. James Ferguson, and his wife, Mrs. Irene Ferguson, and the entire Alumni Association of the College of Medicine for their generous support and donation for this important event. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Carlos Patu, Dean of the College of Medicine.
Good afternoon, and welcome, members of the class of 2021. Your families, significant others, friends, Downstate administration, faculty, and staff to the White Coat Ceremony. You are entering our College of Medicine at a time of great change when the future of healthcare in our nation is the subject of much debate. In addition, you can look forward to an era of extraordinary advances and exciting medical discoveries and technological advances that have been more scientific and technical advances in the past 50 years than in the entire history of the world. These advances will greatly enhance your ability to alleviate human suffering. But at the same time, you can expect to encounter a host of new medical and ethical dilemmas. We will do our best to prepare you to meet those challenges. We have a long tradition of training physicians who are skilled in treating not just the diseases of the body, but also the humanity of the person. For this reason, we celebrate the start of your medical education and career by giving each of you a white coat, one of the symbols of a physician's compassionate care. It is a profound truth that the best patient care is caring about the patient. The white coat is also a way for us to welcome you as junior members of our profession. Dr. Arnold Gold, a neurologist on the faculty at Columbia University's College of Physicians and Surgeons, started the White Coat Ceremony tradition in 1994. Dr. Gold thought that the Hippocratic Oath should be taken on the first day of medical school as well as on the last. He was concerned that physicians were becoming more enamored with the technological aspects of medicine rather than listening to and caring for our patients. He felt that the Hippocratic Oath should be taken by entering medical students to publicly commit at the outset of their careers to the kind of physician that they will become. In 1995, which was the second year of the program, the Gold Foundation expanded their sponsorship of the White Coat Ceremony to 7 other medical schools, including SUNY Downstate. The Gold Foundation reports that the White Coat Ceremony now takes place at 97% of the AAMC accredited schools of medicine in the United States and Canada, as well as osteopathic schools of medicine and at schools in 13 other countries. This year, our White Coat speaker is Dr. Susie Baldwin. Dr. Baldwin is one of our own, a 1996 graduate of SUNY Downstate's College of Medicine. She is a public health and preventive medicine physician whose career has focused on sexual and reproductive health, women's health, epidemiology, and supporting survivors of human trafficking through clinical care, research training, and advocacy. Dr. Baldwin works as the medical director for the medical community engagement at the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health, where her previous posts have included Associate Medical Director of the Division of HIV and STD Programs, and Principal Investigator for the LA County Health Survey and the Chief Science Officer. Dr. Baldwin is co-founder and board president of HEAL Trafficking, an organization that advances the public health response to human trafficking in the U.S. Dr. Baldwin's seminal research on identification of human trafficking victims in healthcare settings led this rapidly expanding field, and she spearheaded the development of the HEAL Trafficking Protocol Toolkit for developing a response to human trafficking victims in healthcare settings. She was also a member of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Technical Working Group, which developed the SOAR curriculum on human trafficking for healthcare providers. Previously, Dr. Baldwin served as medical director for the California Family Health Council and Planned Parenthood of Southern Arizona, and as a U.S.-Mexico border doctor. She has researched HPV and cervical cancer prevention, access to emergency contraception, and other public health topics, and published in 21 peer-reviewed articles and 5 book chapters. Dr. Baldwin has received Freedom Networks USA's Wellstone Award for her dedication to U.S. anti-trafficking efforts, the LA County Department of Public Health's Award for Excellence, the LA County Department of Public Health's Physician Recognition Award for Health Equity, the LA County Commercially Sexually Exploited Children's Champion Award, and the California Family Health Council Family Planning Champion Award. We congratulate you, Dr. Baldwin, on your outstanding achievements. And we believe that your stellar career and words of advice will inspire our audience, and especially the class of 2021. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Susie Baldwin as our White Coat speaker.
Good afternoon, Downstate class of 2021. Good afternoon to all the faculty. Good afternoon to proud parents and siblings and spouses and other partners and loved ones in the audience here today. Thank you, Dean Patu and Dean Putnam, for inviting me here. Thank you to the faculty for your continued work in teaching our students. Welcome to the start of your medical education. 25 years ago, I sat where you are. Not exactly where you are, because we were down Flatbush Avenue a bit to the east on Clarkson, in what was then a brand new building. Despite not remembering a lot of things in my life, I have very clear memories of that time, of the excitement of being here. One of the first things I learned about Downstate was how interesting my classmates were, how diverse, how they came here from all over the city and the state, from around the country and even the world, each with their own story to tell. As you look at the faces of these strangers, know that you will build relationships here that will last you a lifetime. I made friends during orientation, even literally on the first day of school, who are still in my life today. You'll study with the people in this room and take exams together. You'll walk the halls of the hospital together and run out to get coffee. You'll irritate each other, but also make each other laugh. You'll eat together and celebrate together. These moments of sharing joy will be very important because medical school at times will also feel challenging and isolating. One way to avoid the darkest parts of the journey is to be open and trusting with each other. Believe it or not, when I was a third-year student during the OBGYN clerkship, a classmate locked my friend and me in the bathroom to make us late for rounds one morning. So don't do anything like that. You don't need to knock each other down in order to succeed. In fact, teamwork is essential to the practice of medicine. Throughout your career, you'll need to partner with other doctors, with advanced practice clinicians, with nurses, pharmacists, technicians, social workers. Together, you're going to help and heal countless people and make the world a better place. Another distinct memory I have of Downstate is of being in histopathology lab, my eyes glued to the microscope, poring over a slide. I couldn't see the cellular structure I was supposed to see in this kidney tissue. Our professor, Dr. Stempak, came over, looked through the scope, and said to me, "Believing is seeing." I was like, what? Apparently, I was looking right at the structure I was supposed to see. It was perfectly in focus. But I didn't trust myself to know that I was seeing it, to believe that I was seeing it. So my first ask of you today, and I have several, is to trust yourselves. Believing that you can do something is the first step to accomplishing it. You all know this already because you're sitting in these chairs. At some point in your lives, you decided that you wanted to become a doctor. Maybe this was when you were a little girl or a little boy, or when you were in high school. Maybe it happened when you loved your college biology class. or maybe when somebody dear to you became very ill. Maybe becoming a doctor hadn't occurred to you until after you had your bachelor's and you were out working in another field, only to find it wasn't quite as satisfying as you hoped. For me, one of the things that led me to medical school was the burgeoning AIDS epidemic. But whatever it was that led you to decide to pursue this profession, you all believed in yourselves enough to make a big leap. You moved from, I think I want to be a doctor, to taking the concrete steps necessary to get you to medical school. You devoted yourselves to your schoolwork, studied for the MCATs, volunteered in hospitals, shadowed physicians. And now here you are. Congratulations. Give yourselves a hand. This is a beautiful moment in your lives. One of the challenging things about going through medical school is to remember who you are and what brought you here, while also letting yourselves be transformed. I've changed a lot since 1992. Before med school, I was a very shy person. The first time I had to give a presentation in class during my sophomore year of college, I literally ran out of the room crying. And that was a seminar with only about 15 people in it. And now I'm able to stand in this grand hall and speak to you all, possibly without crying. I was very glad they brought a big box of tissues, because I also brought some. I credit Downstate for beginning this process of growth and change in me. I remember being conscious that I was being transformed during surgery clerkship at the Staten Island Veterans Administration Hospital. The world of the VA was completely foreign to me. My dad and uncle had both served in the military during the Korean War era, but they never talked about it. The patients were all men. They were mostly old and middle-aged. As I passed by their rooms, they would call me nurse. And for all of you women in the room, let's hope that the idea of a female doctor is more familiar now than it was then. But it was definitely a different time. We actually had an area on the floor where the patients would go to smoke cigarettes. But these guys at the VA, primarily veterans of World War II and the Vietnam War, had been through events and challenges that I could scarcely imagine. Suddenly, it was my job to have intimate conversations with them, to examine their bodies and relay important information. The imaginary walls between me and other human beings began breaking down. The first person I truly remember helping was a young veteran, not even 40, whom I'll call Jimmy. Jimmy's body was already succumbing to the effects of alcoholism. He had alcohol-induced cardiomyopathy. The diagnosis was a rude awakening to him, and he decided he wanted to quit drinking and go into rehab when he left the hospital. There weren't any beds available. As a med student, I had time to do some of the legwork that the residents and attendings on the service couldn't. We didn't have internet then, but through persistence and a lot of phone calls, I was able to find Jimmy a rehab bed at a VA facility not too far away. My efforts made a difference. I was so happy and amazed. Maybe I helped save this man's life. This is one of the things I want to impress upon you today, the importance of your role as medical students. It's not every day that you'll know you're making a difference. When you're holding a retractor during a long abdominal surgery and trying not to think about needing to go to the bathroom, you're not going to relish your role as a medical student. But you're keeping that surgical field open, and your contribution to that operation is essential. And know this, every time you take a patient's history, every time you listen to your patient and respect their concerns, and every time you offer someone kindness and comfort, you will be making a difference. You don't have to know how to treat your patient's illnesses yet in order to help them. As a medical student, you'll have time to bond with patients in ways that become more rare as your workload and responsibilities increase. These kinds of human connections can help your patients heal. When I was a student here, we had a lot of hands-on education in ways that I'm not even sure are legal now. There was a man named Mr. Loftus who I took care of during my internal medicine sub-internship on the oncology ward. Mr. Loftus was a crotchety guy, not the most pleasant fellow. He had a suprapubic catheter to drain his urine, which was no doubt one reason why he was never in a good mood. One day, there was a problem with his catheter. Mr. Loftus was in a lot of distress, and he was frustrated because an attempt earlier in the day to replace the catheter had failed. For some reason, there was now no one on the floor who could help him. The intern gave me permission to take care of him, so I went into his room with the nurse, and I was able to get around the scar tissue to smoothly place the new catheter. Mr. Loftus liked me a lot after that, and I liked myself too. In my career these days, I spend a lot of time going around training healthcare providers about human trafficking, a human rights abuse that involves the exploitation of people's labor and bodies through the use of force, fraud, or coercion. Basically, the most important thing I teach is the value of being kind and non-judgmental with patients. It's kind of silly, right? After all the education and training, 2 research fellowships, medical director jobs, and 2 decades of practicing medicine, this for me is still what it really all comes down to: being kind and withholding judgment. I'm training people in the delivery of what's called trauma-informed care, which is a way of practicing medicine that respects the impact of physical, sexual, and emotional trauma on our brains and our behaviors. The concept emerged from the fields of mental health and substance abuse treatment, but in my view, it is absolutely fundamental to the compassionate practice of medicine in general. When I ask rooms full of doctors and nurses if they've ever heard the phrase trauma-informed care, usually not a single hand shoots up. So for your class, we've now corrected that omission from medical education. No matter how smart you are, how astute your diagnostic skills, or how elegantly you'll wield a scalpel, the relationship of respect and trust that you create with your patients is essential to your ability to help them. We're learning more and more about the psychoneuroendocrine immunologic system of our bodies, or PNEI. Complex and intricate pathways that link mind and body, that translate difficult emotional experiences into physical symptoms, and positive emotional experiences into healing. The science that expands our understanding of disease and treatment is advancing at mind-boggling speed. During your medical careers, you're going to have access to information and technology that few of us can even dream of today. Some of you will discover that new information and create that technology. You will transform medicine as it transforms you. But medicine will also change in ways beyond your control. One thing I want to talk to you about, to warn you about, is that the way we deliver healthcare in this country is not sustainable. The Affordable Care Act has made improvements. It's increased access to care for millions of people. It's reined in some of the health insurance industry's most egregious practices. It's created investment in public health and prevention, and it's reduced the precipitous increase in our healthcare spending. But we continue to pay more for our healthcare in the United States and get less out of it than other developed nations. Most alarmingly, we remain the only developed nation on the planet that doesn't manage to provide healthcare to all of its people. We spend enough to provide high-quality care to everyone, and we've democratized some of the best technology in the world. But a lot of the money we're spending doesn't go to taking care of patients or paying doctors or other healthcare professionals. As an example, for every 3 of you, there are going to be 2 administrative staff to handle all the forms that you generate, mostly for private insurance plans. This health system structure is unique to the United States, and not in a good way. Compared to other developed nations in Europe and Asia, we go to the doctor less often, and we die younger. Many poor and middle-class people in this country can't even afford to go to the doctor or to purchase the medications and procedures that they need, even when they have health insurance. Illness is the leading cause of bankruptcy in this country, and most people who go bankrupt because they get sick actually have health insurance. Every day, people in this country have to decide, am I going to pay my rent or fill my prescription? This has to change, and I encourage you to lead this change rather than let the inadequacies of our system overtake and frustrate you. We're either going to remain a country where healthcare is delivered as an overly complex commodity available to some, or we're going to adopt a system that views healthcare as a right reduces the billions of dollars we spend on billing administration and private profit, and more efficiently focus on taking care of people. So my second ask of you today is that during your medical education, you find time to review the evidence about healthcare systems and work to build the one that will give you the most job satisfaction and let you take the best care of your patients. I happen to be particularly sensitive to the needs of patients because I've spent a lot of time being one. When I was 41, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I found the lump when the cancer was only stage 1, and so far my treatment's been successful, so I was very lucky. Beyond that, I have cystic fibrosis, a disease that results from a defect in the gene that controls the transport of chloride across cell membranes. CF can affect many systems of the body, but it's especially serious in the lungs. I was extremely fortunate to have a form of the disease that was mild enough for me to reach the age where I could even consider medical school, much less get through my years at Downstate without any health issues that I remember, except for depression. It was during residency and beyond that the disease started catching up with me. The coughing up of blood, the repeated rounds of intravenous antibiotics for infections. Since my early 30s, I spent a lot of time in the bed on the other side of the doctor-patient equation. I've come quite close to death. I stand here before you today only because I have inside me the lungs of a young man who died of a ruptured brain aneurysm in December of 2012. Like many of you, he was 23. I tell you this to give you some perspective and to remind you that even to be here today is a privilege. I know you've sacrificed and made compromises to get to medical school. You've earned this opportunity. Your families and friends who are here to celebrate have earned this too. But to have access to the education it takes to become a physician is a gift in and of itself. So my third ask of you today is to remember to use this gift to bolster others. Apply yourselves to understanding disease, preventing it, treating your patients, and reducing their suffering. But also use your gifts to help others in a broader way. Even though to master the art and science of medicine requires intense commitment and will consume most of your waking hours in the next 7 or 10 or 20 or 50 or 60 years, always try to remain conscious of the world outside of medicine. Recognize that you can use your gift to preserve the health of your community, as well as the people who are your patients. Most of your patients will live 99% of their lives outside the walls of the hospital or your office. Their health and their ability to take care of themselves will often depend entirely on what happens outside the medical center. Their ability to access employment, education, nutritional food, clean water, transportation, and social support, their ability to live free of violence, racism, discrimination, and abuse profoundly affects their health status. In public health, we call these the social determinants of health or the upstream determinants of health because they happen long before people walk into the doctor's office. As a physician, you can help protect your patients even when they are not under your care. Use your voice to make your neighborhood, your city, our country a safe place. Don't let asthma, heart disease, and cancer rates increase because environmental protections are stripped away. Don't let people addicted to drugs and alcohol wither away without treatment options. Don't let immigrants and asylum seekers be forced into the shadows where they can't trust anyone in a position of authority, including doctors. Pay attention to the effects that laws and policies have on health and well-being. Support public policies that allow all people to live with dignity. Today, you're taking an oath to do the very best you can at all times for your patients, for the people who are going to put their trust in you. They're literally going to trust you with their lives. So my remaining asks of you today are as follows. Devote yourselves to medicine. Learn your craft. Serve your patients. Serve this profession. Be ethical. Question authority. Remain hopeful. Love your job. And be a good citizen. And most of all, find the warmest, most generous corner of your heart and build a wall around it to protect that part of you from all the cynicism and doubt you're going to encounter throughout the course of your studies and your medical career. And when you're cooped up in your dorm room or your apartment, studying and stressing out and wondering why you're here, remember that corner of your heart and that all of this work is in service to other human beings who are going to need you. Congratulations again. I wish you all the very best.
And now, without further ado, I am delighted and honored to present you the class of 2021. Will the following faculty members please come forward and take your places? Dr. Ricardo Bianchi will lead the class to be coded. Sophie Cristoforo, Associate Dean for Student and Curricular Affairs, will read the names of the members of the class of 2021. Dr. Robin Ovich, Assistant Dean for Clinical Competencies, and Dr. Andrew Adler, Associate Director for Clinical Competencies, will assist the members of the class with their right coats.
When I call your name, please come forward to receive your coat. Dalia Abdel Ati. Adam Abin. Mohammed Abuseria. Matthew Acosta. Carrie Adler. Jonathan Akivis. Nazreen Akhtar. Alessandro Albano. Juan Manuel Alcade. Sahar Ali. Gabriel Amada. Miriam Andruzier. Samuel Apple. Better. Jeffrey Aris. Christopher Armenia. Bilal Aslam. Tobias Atkin, or Tobias Atkin. Caroline Atlas. Jack Barnett. Ryan Bender. Charles Benson. Mike Berrios. Rabani Barara. Stephanie Biondi. Mackenzie Boyce. Emma Brenner. Jeffrey Bryant. Sebastian Bustamante. Daniel Chow. Elizabeth Ann Carbone. Kevin Carroll. Drew Michelle Castillo. Ryan Checky. Fanny Chan. Megan Chang. Hemel Chauhan. Alexander Chi. Alvin Cho. Fatima Chahari. David Schwecka. Sadakat Chowdhury. Jessica Chomsky. Zachary Chung. Courtney Connolly. Charles Conway. Maureen Cost. Randy Cruz. Brandon Da Silva. Jessica Delahanty. Tyler Desmond. Michael Dolan. Michael Dosick. Tasnima Elahi. Christina Ellison. William Engel. Justine Englenoff. Jessamine Fasley. Anthony Filipovich. Thomas Flagilio. Brian Ford. Jordan Freeman. Sarah Friedman. Camilo Galeano Londoño. Hermione Gaw. Merlin George. Adam Goldman. Diana Gonzalez. Diana Grunstein. Neha Gupta. Sherry Guru Singha. Lubanya Heather. Safras Hamid. John Hurd. Paige Herman. Joyce Huang. Yvonne Huang. Zoya Hada. Jamila Isabekova. Anjali Jamin. Ishan Jain. Angel Jiang. Jessica Johnson. Kalila Kahana. Charles Carish. Elizabeth Kasparov. Adriana Cavusi. Nabila Kondakar. David Kim. Julie Kim. Oscar Kroll. Carla Kuzmiak. Alexandra Lay. Philip Lee. Katerina Lembrikova. Jonathan Leung. Ariel Lerner. Ivana LaRouge. Sarah Parker Leventer. Canny Lee. Jeffrey Loeffler. Benjamin Lombardo. Anna Lopez. Katharina Lubin. Francesca Macaluso. Tasnia Mahmood. Rohan Maini. Leela Marshall. Paige Marzi. Tobin Matthew. Max Mecklenburg. Talia Maisel. Adil Melamed. Camila Meligari. Asif Mia. Cameron Motari. Thomas Monahan. Matthew Moy. Swatha Manmini. Elizabeth Murray. Taylor Murtaugh. Ikea Myri. Nelson Wananu. Dylan Ofrey. Aladuni Ogandope. Jada Oleinka. Olachi Oleru. Mayanna Olson. Alvin Uman. Aladiyame Osho. Bethel Ozed Williams. Ryan Pang. Royce Park. Priyanka Parmar. Jared Pasetsky. Lara Pasvel. Pratik Patel. David Pullman. Elizaveta Prisanak. Syed Rahman. Christopher Ramirez. Schneider Rancy. Jay Rathod. Franco Ravello. Sarah Reardon. Nicholas Russo. Aisha Saad. Michael Sabarisi. Ryan Shear. Benjamin Seiden. Abdo Simon. Gael Serafin. Stephanie Serrato. Sejal Shaw. Tajan Shaw. Nicole Siegert. Noah Silverstein. Chanel Simmons. Asli Sinar. Dove Singman. Liana Smith. Nicholas Spezio. Connor Stewart. Natalie Sun. Nicholas Suss. Si Yin Tang. Johnny Tang. Eric Taub. Shelley Tai. Joel Thomas. Javier Tacona. Vishnu Tiwari. Kalu Udensi. Amarachi Uwaga. Michael Vaseblatt. Lauren Vicente. Isaac Vingin. Jasmine Walker. Rebecca Walton. Stephanie Wong. Brett Wankel. Amanda Wildstein. Clara Wilson. Tyler Wise. Dylan Wolf. Michael Shu. Billy Yang. Georgiana Yang. Tracy Lee. Yi, excuse me. Angela Yu. Sungho Isaac Yoon. Haoshuin Yuan. David Zaikai. Jack Zhao. Jonathan Zhou. And Ying Yin Zhou.
It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Jean McCrae, who will administer the Hippocratic Oath.
Will the members of the class of 2021 please rise? Any physician members of the audience who wish to renew their Hippocratic Oath are invited to rise also. The oath is printed in your program. Please raise your right hand and recite the words of the oath slowly along with me. I do solemnly swear by that which I hold most sacred, that I will be loyal to the profession of medicine and just and generous to its members, that I will lead my life and practice my art in uprightness and honor, that whatever house I shall enter, it shall be for the good of the sick to the utmost of my power, that I will hold myself aloof from wrong, that I will exercise my art solely for the cure of my patients, and will give no drug and perform no operation for a wrongful purpose, that whatsoever I shall see or hear of the lives of men and women that should not be spoken, I will keep secret. These I do promise, and in proportion as I am faithful to this my oath, may happiness and good repute be ever mine.
Be seated. Once again, I'd like to congratulate the class of 21. Let's have another round of applause. This concludes our 23rd annual White Coat Ceremony. Please join us for a reception immediately following through the doors on this side. Please remain in your seats while the class of 2021 exits first, followed by the audience. Thank you.